a great day when you're hanging around. Nothing's ever gonna bring me down. Good times are coming our way. Whenever, wherever, whatever today.
Today is going to be a great day. I am Nikki G, your host, and welcome to the Lone Doctrine. I am your weekly dose of constructive food for thought. I thought I would start off today with a food for thought type quote. Obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off the goal. This month we've been talking about goal setting, and if you're just joining in with us, go back to the beginning of the month, just a few episodes, and catch up, because as we come into the new year, setting goals is extra important. Here at the Lone Doctrine, we celebrate uniqueness and individuality, and I try to bring you many different perspectives, including my own. I found this one, but unfortunately I couldn't find an author, so we'll call this the anonymous perspective. One of the biggest challenges in meeting any goal, whether it be related to productivity, waking up early, changing a habit, exercising, or just becoming happier, is finding the motivation to stick with it. If you can stick with a goal for long enough, you'll almost always get there. It just takes patience and motivation. Motivation is the key. But it's not always easy, day in and day out, to find motivation. The following is a guide to motivation using what I've learned over the last few years in a series of successful accomplishments, goals, and habit changes. I've had many failures, but also many successes, and I've learned a lot from all of them. How does motivation work? Before we get into specific methods, it's useful to examine what motivation is, what it does, and how it works. Motivation is what drives you towards a goal, what keeps you going when things get tough, the reason you get up early to exercise or work late to finish a project. There are all kinds of motivations, of course, from positive to negative. Having a boss threaten to fire you is motivation. You'll likely work harder to complete a project with that kind of pressure. But I find that positive motivation works better. If it's something you really want to do, you'll do a much better job than to avoid something you don't want, such as being fired. So motivation in its best form is a way for you to want to do something. There may be times, for example, when you don't feel like getting up early. And in those times, you may seriously just want to sleep in. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But if you have a reason to want to get up early, something you really, really want to do, you'll jump out of bed with excitement. The best motivation then is a way for you to really want something, to get excited about, to be passionate about it. Remember that, as there are many other types of motivation, especially negative, but in my experience, this is the kind that works the best. There is only so long that you can go trying to motivate yourself to do something you don't like to do, something you don't want to do. But if you find ways to really want to do something, you can sustain your effort for much, much longer. Here are some tips for starting out. Start small. I've said this before, but that's because it's one of the most important tips in motivating yourself towards a goal. Start out with an easy goal and then grow from there. If you want to exercise, for example, you may be thinking that you have to do this intense workout 5 days a week. No, instead, do small, tiny baby steps. Just do 2 minutes of exercise. I know that sounds totally wimpy, but it works. Commit to 2 minutes of exercise for 1 week. You may want to do more, but just stick to 2 minutes. It's so easy, you can't fail. Do it at the same time every day. Just some crunches, 2 push-ups, and some jogging in place. Once you've done 2 minutes a day for a week, increase it to 5 and stick with that for a week. In a month, you'll be doing 15 to 20 minutes a day. Want to wake up early? Don't think about waking up at 5 a.m. Instead, think about waking up 10 minutes earlier for a week. That's all. Once you've done that, wake up 10 minutes earlier than that. Too many people start with too many goals at once and try to do too much, and it saps up energy and motivation. It's probably the most common mistake that people make. You cannot maintain energy and focus, the two most important things in accomplishing a goal, if you're trying to do 2 or more goals at once. Commit to it publicly. None of us likes to look bad in front of others. We will go the extra mile to do something we've said publicly. Now, you don't have to commit to your goal in your daily newspaper, but you can do it with friends and family and coworkers. And hold yourself accountable. Don't just commit once, but commit to giving progress updates to everyone every week or so. Set a date in the future, in a week or 2, or even a month, and make that your start date. Mark it on the calendar. Get excited about that date. Make it the most important date in your life. In the meantime, start writing out a plan and do some of these steps, because by delaying your start, you are building anticipation and increasing your focus and your energy level. The second half of motivation is to keep yourself going when you don't feel the same excitement as you did in the beginning. Perhaps something new has come into your life and your old goal isn't as much of a priority. Perhaps you skipped a day or 2, or now you can't get back into it. If you can get yourself excited again and keep going, you'll get there eventually. Just start. There are some days when you don't feel like heading out the door for a run, or figuring out your budget, or whatever it is you're supposed to do that day for your goal. Well, instead of thinking about how hard it is and how long it'll take, tell yourself that you just have to start. I have a rule that I have to put on my running shoes and close the door behind me. After that, it all flows naturally. It's when you're sitting in the house, thinking about running and feeling tired, that it seems hard. Once you start, it is never as hard as you thought it would be. Squash negative thoughts and replace them with positive ones. This is one of the most important motivation skills, and I suggest you practice it daily. It's important to start monitoring your thoughts and to recognize negative self-talk. Just spend a few days becoming aware of every negative thought. Then, after a few days, try squashing those negative thoughts like a bug, and then replacing them with a corresponding positive thought. Squash, this is too hard, and replace it with, I can do this. Thinking about how hard something is a big problem for most people. Waking up early sounds so hard. Just thinking about it makes you tired. But instead of thinking about how hard something is, think about what you'll get out of it. For example, instead of thinking about how hard it is to wake up early, focus on how good you'll feel when you're done and how your day will be so much better. The benefits of something will help energize you. Find like-minded friends. Staying motivated on your own is tough, but if you find someone with similar goals, see if they'd like to partner with you, or partner with your spouse, your siblings, your best friend, on whatever goals they're trying to achieve. Other good options are groups in your area, or online forums where you can find people to talk to about your goals. Read inspiring stories. Inspiration for me comes from others who have achieved what I want to achieve, or who are currently doing it. I read other blogs, books, magazines. I Google my goal and read success stories. Get through the low points. Motivation is not a constant thing that will always be there for you. It comes and goes again, like a tide. But realize while it may go away, it doesn't permanently go away. It will come back Just stick it out and wait for that motivation to come back. In the meantime, read about your goal, ask for help, and do some of the other things listed here until your motivation comes back. Chart your progress. This can be as simple as marking an X on your calendar or creating a simple spreadsheet, but it can be vastly rewarding to look back on your progress and to see how far you've come. It can help you keep going. You don't want to have too many days without an X. Now, you will have some bad marks on your chart, and that's okay. Don't let a few bad marks stop you from continuing. Strive instead to get the good marks next time. Reward yourself often. For every little step along the way, celebrate your success and give yourself a reward. Be aware of your urges to quit and overcome them. We all have urges to stop, but they are mostly unconscious. One of the most powerful things you can do is start being more conscious of these urges. A good exercise is to go through the day with a little piece of paper and put a tally mark for each time you get an urge. It simply makes you aware of the urges. Find pleasure again. No one can stick to something for long if they find it unpleasant. There has to be fun, pleasure, joy in every day, or you won't want to do it. Find those pleasurable things. The beauty of a morning run, for example, or the satisfaction in reporting to people that you've finished another step along the way. In a huge nutshell, don't give up. We are here to support you each and every week at the Lone Doctrine. If you'd like to learn more and would like to support our cause, visit lonedoctrine.com and become a patron on Patreon. We hope to keep bringing you tools to make today better than yesterday. Thank you so much for your support. You are awesome. Today and every day, keep fighting the good fight.
It's a great day when you're hanging